Good morning and welcome to the Vision Alignment Show. Happy Tuesday. It's a great day. It's a great day to be alive. Boy, I'll tell you, this is phenomenal. We've had some spectacular guests this week and really this month. But I'll tell you, the guest we have coming up today is incredible. You're going to so enjoy having the conversation with her. So look forward to that. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about some episodes we have coming up at the end of this meeting, or at the end of this call. So I keep calling it a call. It's a show. At the end of this show, we're going to have a conversation about the different speakers we have coming on here in the next few days. I'm really looking forward to that. But it's important for us to understand the real meaning of the show. And the show is all about helping people and helping you to understand the importance of having your core beliefs and your core values aligned with your vision. So when they're aligned with your vision, you're going to be much happier, much more successful, and you're just going to live a better life, because that's what you were meant to do, is to live according to what your vision, or live according to what your core is, your core strength is. So someone that knows an awful, and yes, there are times you need to put blinders on and focus only on your vision. But there are also times you need to take those blinders off and experience something else that's in the world. So someone that has great vision and knows a lot about her, knows a lot about her blind spots, knows a lot about her, her core strengths and her core values, is none other than Cherissa Jackson.
Hi.
Good morning, Cherissa.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for being on today.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your first time, your first recollection of knowing your vision.
Oh my God, now you're going to make me think way back. I would say I realized my vision, I believe, when I was in the bunker in Afghanistan in a near-death experience. That was in 2011, 2012-ish. It was my fourth deployment. And I remember we were just under an attack, and we had gotten to the bunker, which is a hardened shelter to protect us. And I was in that shelter. And after, going through 4 deployments, I'm like, my God, is this the day that is my time to leave this earth, while sitting in this bunker? Because I could hear the gunfire overhead. I could hear the fight and the bombs going off. So I knew that it was going to be my day, that, I was going to have my last breath. But God had another vision for me. He had another purpose for me. And I think sitting in that bunker and being grateful in the moment, being hopeful in the moment, I realized that my purpose was to be here on earth and to serve others and to continue to serve others. And it was because I was the leader in that bunker. Everyone looked upon me for their safety. You're talking about other nurses, doctors. They're looking at me because, I was the most experienced officer in that bunker at that moment. And so they were kind of looking at me like, what should we do? And I was just like, oh my God, I have to be here to support my coworkers. I have to be here to support my fellow soldiers. And in that moment, I just felt gratitude, but I also felt like if I survived, that I had to give back, be on purpose, and be a person of service. So I think that's when that epiphany, that vision really, really stirred in my heart and my soul.
Wow. If you want to hear more, stay right there. Amazing. Cherissa, thank you for your service, first off. Secondly, I want to encourage the people that are on the show they're listening in to to share this video out with as many people as you possibly can think of, because that's really where we build this community. Secondly, put a picture of you in your timeline of you winking. And when you wink, much like me, you'll know what your purpose is. You'll know what your vision is. You'll begin to come aligned with that. So when you understand what makes you unique, then you can start to do that. You can really start to have an effect on people in a whole new way you just never imagined before. So that's why I encourage people to wink. And when they wink, they begin to understand that. So put that in your timeline. Put a hashtag of Brian with one eye in there, and also a hashtag of winking with Wagner. Tag me on the photo, and you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a free signed copy of my book, Sometimes It Does Take a Brain Surgeon. So thank you for that. If you want to know more and want to stay connected with us, go to brianwagner.live, and you'll be you'll be put onto our mailing list, and you'll get more of these inspirational videos and all this. So thank you for all that. Now, Cherissa, back to you. What amazing story. First of all, thank you for your service. If I didn't say that already, I think I did. But I'm just in awe of this, of what you've just already told us. But if you would, tell us more about your story, and then we'll bring on some other people here after you're telling us more about your story and how you ended up where you are.
Oh my goodness. How far do you want me to go back?
As long as you want. It's quite all right.
Well, first of all, let me get my dogs under control here, because I don't want to interrupt this interview here.
Hey, and we're dancing. Cherissa is great. She even takes care of her dog. So how about that? I think that and you said she's back.
I was a track star, in my previous life, so I was able to, get that done really quickly. So I do apologize.
What's your dog's name? What's your dog's name?
So I have Marble, and then I have Calvin, and then I have Ty. So we have 3 dogs. So the Husky, he's my boy. He's right here at my feet, so he shouldn't do anything. Marble, she's a little baby girl. She's only 2, so she sees things on the water and she wants to go for it. And then Calvin is pretty old, so he's over there sleeping. So I'm really sorry about that. I thought they were going to be good.
Oh no, you're quite all right. You're quite all right. So tell us a little bit more about your story and how you ended up where you ended up.
Yeah. So at 17, again, I always had this vision of, what am I supposed to be? Coming from the South, where my parents always instilled in us, you either go to school, you work, or you go into the military. So of course I chose the military at 17. My parents had to sign for me, and it was the best decision ever. My brother was already in the Navy. So when I was deciding which branch I wanted to go into, he of course said, there's no other branch for you to go into but the Air Force. And so I chose the Air Force, and I'm so glad that I did. I had such great experiences. It allowed me to get my nursing degree paid for. It allowed me to see the world. I was married, divorced, went through all of that in the military, and I don't regret any of that, because I have 2 beautiful daughters that are doing phenomenal right now. And then after 4 deployments, as I mentioned, I decided to retire after 23.5 years and 14 days, because I knew it was time. And I kind of felt it in my gut that it was time for me to leave the military and do something else and continue to inspire and motivate people across the world. And so I was on this journey to motivate and inspire veterans who were suffering from PTSD. And I did that immediately when I came out of the military because I suffered from PTSD and still continue to have my challenges with post-traumatic stress. I mean, how could I not after being deployed 4 times? And so I knew I was on this journey not only to help myself, but to help my fellow veterans who were also suffering with post-traumatic stress. So it was important for me to create this image or this vision of who people in the community thought a PTSD survivor looked like. And I will never forget someone telling me that I didn't look like someone who had PTSD. So I wanted to bring awareness to the community. I wanted to show the community that we are out here and we're still doing great work, even with our challenges of PTSD. And as a result, I am now the Chief Medical Executive of AmVets for the work that I've done with veterans. And so my journey started at a very young age. And now, several years later, post-retirement, I'm here and I'm still serving. And I continue not only to serve veterans, but also women in underserved communities with Project Give Hope.
I love it. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But first, we want to say hello to some people that have joined us. Mark, my friend Mark, he's on. It's good to see you, Mark. Yes, from Ohio, and that's good to see. And yes, he was brought back by your story to when his days of being deployed.
Yeah.
So, so my friend Wes being a smart aleck here, but that's okay. We like having fun. And then Mark Gazzard, thank you for your military sisters. I'm sorry. Thank you, my military sister, for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
He was Army, and Mark was 20 years Army Special Forces, and and Mark Gazzard, a lot of Marks. Mark Gazzard is totally appreciative of your dog. So 100% military disability for PTSD. So that's my friend Mark. So interesting that you are on the show today talking about what you're talking about and how you have taken the mantle, if you will, and you're leading the charge for PTSD with all you're doing at AmVets, and then the other stuff you're doing. Let's talk more about AmVets. So you're the Chief Medical Officer. What does that mean?
Yeah, so when I was doing the work of PTSD and bringing PTSD awareness to the community after I retired in 2013, AmVets was watching. They were seeing all the things I was doing on social media. I had this huge platform, a nonprofit called PTS Faces, which was allowing veterans to come into a platform and hear other stories and be inspired by other people's stories and success of dealing with PTSD. And I didn't even know the world was watching. I mean, I had a couple of followers, but AmVets saw the good work that I was doing. I'd been a speaker at West Point. I had done some work on different TV shows and radio shows and things of that nature. So they needed someone to come run their HEAL program. And HEAL stands for Healthcare Evaluation, Advocacy, and Legislation. So they was like, man, that she would be a good leader to run that program. So they brought me on as their chief medical executive to run that program from a holistic standpoint. As a clinician, I mean, I was a nurse and I've been a nurse almost 20 years now. They wanted a clinician who could understand the medical conditions of veterans and be able to help them navigate through the VA, legislation, advocacy, all of those things. And so they felt that I had the guns to be able to do it. And I came on board in 2019. We've done some phenomenal work when it comes to legislation, when it comes to women's health, suicide prevention. And as a result, we won a VETI award, which is a huge prestigious award that's in the veteran community. And I won that last year in 2020. So that was the epitome of me doing what I feel as a woman of service I should be doing, to be honored by my own peers in the veteran community with that VETI award. And I just continue to plow through challenges that I know veterans are facing and being available to them. So veterans come to us through the HEAL program, either by calling us or emailing us and just giving us their challenge. Most veterans come to us and they're desperate. They're coming to us, this is the last leg. I have nowhere else to go. I've tried everywhere else. And we do some phenomenal things, making things happen for veterans. So very proud of that program. It's only been in place less than 4 years. We've gotten some really great support from the Christopher Reeves Foundation with our suicide prevention program. And we continue to get support throughout the community and other VSOs, veteran service organizations as well.
And that's through AmVets, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So but the HEAL program is not is a part of AmVets.
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay. Awesome. Wow, that's great. So if anybody wants to get more information about that, they can go to AmVets, right?
Yeah, they can go to AmVets.org, or they can go specifically to my program at AmVetsHealProgram.org. And that'll take them directly to our page and see all of our pillars, things that we've done in the past, events that we've had, different shows that I've been on, Fox, CNBC, all of those things are there for people to really see what I've been doing out here in the community.
And now you've been on the Vision Alignment Show, so.
Absolutely, we have to post that as well.
How much more exciting does it get?
I know, right? Well, I mean, I tell you, we could go way back, but I think this is great, and we'll make sure we update it with yours as well.
Well, that's awesome. Anything that we can do to help, to be of service to you is really what it's all about. So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the not-for-profits.
Yeah. So, in 2017, I actually went to Uganda, Africa for the first time. I've always wanted to go and do a medical mission. And so I joined a medical mission out of Atlanta. They were looking for nurses and doctors to do a mission in Uganda. And I was like, man, this is a great opportunity. So I jumped on that opportunity. I went over there. We did some great work, but I just didn't feel fulfilled, or that we had actually did the best that we could have done. And because we really weren't prepared from a medical standpoint, we had gathered as many supplies as we could. We went over there, we saw a lot of people, but in hindsight, the mission could have been a little bit more structured and more organized. But again, it wasn't mine. So I kind of jumped on someone else's. So on that long flight back from Uganda, I felt I needed to redeem myself. I was the only military person on that mission. And so I felt that I had failed Uganda. I really felt bad coming back because I knew we could have done more. And so on that long flight back, God gave me this vision of doing Project Give Hope and coming back that following year. So that's exactly what happened. I got back in October. I found a web developer. I found a marketer. And I'm like, look, this is the vision. This is what I want to do. And Project Give Hope actually launched March of 2018. I got funding through word of mouth, through a lot of women's health practices that gave me some money to go back to Uganda, where we actually saved the lives of women in 20 seconds. And we do that by treating precancerous lesions on the cervix with a device called a thermocoagulator that actually burns off that precancerous lesions that prevents women from getting cervical cancer. So it's a way to save the lives of women who may not otherwise have had an opportunity for someone to screen them and to treat them on the spot. And so when I went back in 2018, I was able to raise enough money to take this device to Africa, to actually have a team go with me, and we trained other doctors and nurses on the device, and we left the device there so they can continue to save the lives of other women after we left. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so it's something about having to go to a country like Africa and see the impact of a vision and being of service to other people. And it humbles you when you go over there and you see, the equipment that they are using and the supplies that they don't have, but they're still saving lives. And then you come back to the US and you be like, we're being so wasteful, right? And so to me, it's so rewarding going there, they're so appreciative, even the little kids. We were able to go to a couple of primary schools, and I delivered some reusable sanitary pads to young girls. The little things that we take for granted over here, they were just so grateful over there. And so my goal is to go back this year, hopefully, if we can get some funding, to do another 2-week mission to do the very same thing, save the lives of women from cervical cancer in 20 seconds. That's our slogan.
That's amazing. 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about where are you going? Where in Africa? It's a big.
Well, yeah. So, I've gone to Uganda twice. However, I've had interest from Nigeria to have us come. So there's a well-established hospital there. It's growing. And so they don't have a cervical cancer screening center there. So they're asking that I come and actually start their cervical cancer screening center. And so I'm just honored that they've chosen me to come and actually jumpstart that program for them. And hopefully I can get the funding to go.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it was just an honor for them to have me as a very small nonprofit, but they've seen the good work and they see the passion that we have when we do come, and they want us to come and do the same thing for them.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I have a friend who is affiliated with the country Burkina Faso. So his name is Jean Paul. And we may want to connect with you,
Sure.
with you.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
We go everywhere. Everywhere.
So how long do you spend over there? 4 weeks?
We go there for 2 weeks because it takes about, at least for Africa, it takes several days to get there, 1.5, almost 2 days to get there. And then, of course, jet lag. And I like for the team to be on the ground and give solid work for at least 7 to 10 days. And then, of course, it takes us that 1.5 days, almost 2 days to get back. Wow. But it's well worth it. It's so well worth it. Everybody that's gone over there with me come back and they have a new sense of purpose, if you will. And because we're spoiled over here. We're so spoiled over here from a medical standpoint that the things that we take for granted over there, I mean, we take supplies that we don't even want over here, and they're so grateful for it over there. Really? So it just really humbles you. So you do come back changed in some way, shape, form, and fashion.
Wow, that's great. So let's see here. Mark Gassard says in his book, Military Lives Matter, I think that's the name of his book. Yeah, so any disabled veteran, mentally or physically, who honorably served should never be homeless. Yeah, very cool. That's very true. Let's see here. So, and then I think he's got one more comment. If I can get to it, there it is. Oh, thank you for sharing your vision today.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, this is great. Wow. So much going on. You're amazing with all the things you have. You're juggling, and I'm impressed. I'm sure everybody's impressed that's on this call. So tell us a little bit more about what is the challenge or the obstacles you're still trying to overcome.
Oh my goodness. I would say the biggest challenge or obstacle that I'm overcoming or trying to overcome is work-life balance. One of the symptoms that I have of PTSD is insomnia. I just cannot seem to shut my brain down because I have all these ideas. I'm very creative. And so it's challenging to be able to shut that down and be able to, have that work-life balance. And so I have to set aside some time for me to get on that Peloton and work on that Peloton and shut my brain down, and then get back rejuvenated and give myself time to just say, turn it off. And so that's something that I battle every day. I'm so much better than I once was. Because I'll be up into the wee hours of the night, writing down visions and plans and strategies. But I no longer do that. I try and stay focused and one project at a time. And that seemed to be working so far. That's good. So you have a lot of instances where people could see your blind spots. Do you have somebody that sees your blind spots? I would say, it's about, it comes and goes. Those blind spots come when I don't feel like I'm in my pocket, if you will, or I'm in my vision. I'm not a visionary. And when that happens, that kind of, takes me out of sorts. And so it's important for me that I have to reel it back in and figure out how do I recalibrate, if you will. And that's I think that's when that happens, I get uncomfortable. And so it sometimes is a challenge with my PTSD to get back on track. But when I'm back on track, I'm good to go. So tell us a little bit more about your next, what's next for you? What's your next level of success look like? Oh my God, my next level of success. I would say if I really had, my way, I would want to go to Africa twice a year. Because I just feel the impact of the work that we do. I would love to go twice a year. I would love to do more for veterans in the cannabis space. There's a lot of work that's happening right now in Congress when it comes to legalization. And I see the efficacy of cannabis, and I know that it can certainly save the lives of a lot of our veterans, particularly the 22 that die each day to suicide. And I would love to be able to have that support to advocate for that for veterans in Congress and see some movement in that department. So threefold there, Africa twice a year, do more for veterans, and kind of move the needle when it comes to cannabis legalization. I think that's enough for now.
Well, that is a lot. So how can you get to that support that of the legalization? What's the next step for you?
Yeah, and I think right now, what I've done is I created a actual cannabis conference. It's the first of its kind. It's the very first one for AmVets. That's going to be on June 27th. It's a virtual conference, and it's a way to bring awareness to cannabis as a medicine. We know that veterans are using it. It is the first conference of its kind that's specific to veterans. Everyone can come and learn the information, but we're talking about the impact it would have on veterans' lives and decreasing suicide and opioid addiction. So it was important for me to create something where we can show the Veteran Affairs Office and the Secretary and our Congress and the President and his administration how effective this plant can be for our veterans. They're always looking for solutions. And me always looking outside the box, I think this would be a viable option for veterans. And I just want that to be heard. And I want that to be something that can change the lives of veterans, from here on out. And there's some movement happening right now. And I would love to be in the forefront of that and have that support, not only from my organization, but from other people in the cannabis industry as well.
So is there for that website to get to the invitation?
Yeah.
AmVets.org / something, or just AmVets.org?
Yeah, you can go to my HEAL page, AmVetsHealProgram.org, and the registration is there. It is free for veterans. It is $22 for non-veterans, and it's $220 for businesses. And again, this conference is about educating the community as a whole. We have lots of panels that's going to be talking about the efficacy of the plant when it comes to kids, caregivers, those who have cancer, kids with epilepsy, women's health, of course, PTSD, opioid addiction. So I did not leave anything unturned when it came to figuring out these panels. And, you'll be the first one to know this, Brian. I'm announcing it here for you. Montel Williams will be our keynote speaker.
What?
For that conference. So, and he's a veteran. So it's pretty significant that we were able to get him, along with UFC fighter and champion Frank Mir is going to give some remarks as well.
Wow.
So yeah, we're pretty stoked that we got those two so far.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
So AmVets HEAL program, did I spell it right?
Yeah, AmVetsHealProgram.org. Yes.
All right, I did 2 dots. Just 1 dot.
Just like that.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much for being on today. This has been phenomenal. So believe it or not, much like we thought, we're at the end of our time already.
Oh my God, that went by fast.
Mark Gassard is appreciative of this. I have to bounce. See,
thanks for being here, Mark.
Thank you for joining, Mark, and thank you again for joining us, Cherissa.
You're so welcome.
I'm going to close out the show, but I'm going to send you back to the green room. If you'll hang out for a little bit, I'll be back there in a little bit.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you. This is great. Wow. Phenomenal. What a great show. Another great show and another great guest. I can't believe what she has been able to do. So this has been phenomenal. I love all the energy, all the conversations that have happened based on this. So I love hearing more of your comments. If there's ever anything else that we can do for you, by all means, let us know. And as always, keep one eye